My name is Gabriel Jung. I'm from NextShark, and we're known as an Asian American news outlet. It's so nice to have a couple minutes with you today.
Thanks for having me. I'm really excited.
So first and foremost, in interviews, you talked about how you were born to Japanese parents in LA and grew up in a mixing bowl of cultures that included both American culture at school and Japanese culture at home. Is it true that alongside school, you attended Japanese language school for 11 years?
Yes, yeah, I went from first grade all the way to the very end, actually. The um high school, second year of high school. Japan only has 3 years of high school, and this specific school only went up to the second grade of high school because the American system and the Japanese system, they don't quite sync up exactly. So everyone that is in the second grade of high school would graduate American high school and then go off to college before they could complete the third year of Japanese school. So anyway, yeah, 11 years, it was a long time, and I honestly loved it. Funny story, my friends from Japanese school, one of them is visiting from Japan. I just saw her like 5 minutes ago in my house. I was busy doing other things. And then our other friend that lives in LA is here, and we're all having dinner for the first time in
It's so
like
wonderful.
years. So, yeah, such a funny timing.
That's so wonderful. But also with that, I mean, that's a very uniquely Asian American experience.
Mhm.
So I wanted to ask, like, how do you think growing up in that kind of mixture of cultures and also education, how do you think that informed your experiences in both in childhood and even later in life?
I think it really shaped my personality and my entire being. Um, I had way more friends that I was close to at Japanese school than my American school. And I think it came from a little bit of feeling uncomfortable with bringing English speaking friends over to my Japanese parents' house. Um, I don't know. In a way, I've always felt really protective over my parents. And since they don't speak English, and a lot of people back then made fun of our culture's food and all of those things. So I felt a lot more comfortable bringing my Japanese school friends over, and we'd hang out all the time. I mean, Saturday school, we finish at 3, and we'd go get boba, go to karaoke. On Sundays, we'd go to an amusement park, and um, we'd speak Japanglish, we called it. So we would switch from like Japanese to English within one sentence. Um, and yeah, so I think growing up, I felt very, very Japanese, more Japanese than American, I think. And nowadays, I think it's pretty 50-50. But
I yeah, no, I think especially when it comes to bilingual people, combining the languages is a
Mhm.
really like it's a shared experience. And I in my own research, before your acting debut, you also worked as a translator and subtitle editor.
Oh,
So
yeah.
when having to like professionally bridge the gap between two languages that have their own expressions, idioms, cultures, what insights do you think you gained beyond just, speaking Japanglish at home? What insights do you think you gained about the relationship or differences that two languages themselves can have?
There are definitely terms, words, feelings that you can't always translate. And that's why I love about like languages and culture. I think if you know the culture at its core, you kind of understand it. But without the contextual clues, if you can't pick up on those, sometimes you miss the entire meaning of, um, in my case, I was translating Japanese dramas. And so I think that's interesting. I had a fun time translating. It was definitely a hard exercise because anime language sometimes is difficult. They come up with all of these, spells and you have to translate them. And sometimes you have no idea how to. So uh, yeah, that was an interesting time in my life as a struggling actor.
Yeah. So now you're playing Kimiko in The Boys, and you've gone on for 4 seasons now. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Um, but Kimiko primarily communicates non-verbally, whether it's writing
Mhm.
things down, looking for book titles, or sign language.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
in
so you're
season
caught up
two,
on all the episodes.
yes, I
The book
am.
titles.
I am.
Yes,
My
thank you.
I got started on it because my sister is such a huge fan, and
Okay,
now
yeah.
we've been watching it
I
together.
thank you to your sister. She's converted you. We love that.
Absolutely. Yeah. But also in season two, you revealed that you worked with your sign language coach to actually come up with Kimiko's own unique version of sign language. I wanted to ask for more details on that process. How does Kimiko's sign language differ from ASL or JSL, which some viewers might be a little bit more familiar with?
Yeah, the entire reasoning behind it, um, because initially we were thinking maybe we can do American Sign Language, but then we felt like MM or someone that has worked in the military or has worked with special needs would understand ASL, and we wanted it to be a special language that Kimiko used with her brother. And it's a special connection only between them two. And I think it's also what brings Frenchie and Kimiko together because she decides to teach him. And that's a point of connection as well. Um, I have the best sign language coach. Her name is Amanda, and she creates the entire language for us. I will take no credit. She comes up with all these creative ways to I mean, she creates the language. It's insane, the amount of work she does. And I think Kripke wanted it to be very different from ASL. So there are no overlapped words or anything like that. Um, but yeah, it's always been really, really fun going into rehearsal and learning everything. And um, spending time with Amanda has been really special to me, not just because we're friends now, but because it informs me about what it's like to be in that community. And she's hard of hearing, and she has hearing aids, and um, her some of her family members also have hearing aids, and so that lived experience, I don't think I would have ever been able to hear about if she wasn't so open about it. So she's been really generous with her time and experiences with me.
Oh, it's so wonderful to hear about your connection with your sign language coach. I think that that's really touching to hear. So then while developing this sign language for the boys, I'm also guessing that you worked with Amanda to learn ASL first, or was it like
No,
immediately into it? No?
she said she could teach me, but I tried in the beginning. I tried to learn ASL and KSL, Kimiko Sign Language, we call it,
Okay, KSL.
KSL, but it was so difficult getting them, like learning them separately was so difficult because it kind of merges together and you start forgetting one and then remember the other, and it just got muddled. And so, unfortunately, I haven't picked up any ASL, which I feel bad about because whenever I, interact with like people that want to speak to me in sign language, I can't, and I feel like a fraud. But yeah, no, I think after the show, maybe I'll pick up on it. Hopefully, Amanda's still down to teach me.
Hopefully, yeah, no, I feel like that'll be a great, not professional way to connect with Amanda too.
Yes.
I also wanted to know since you learned KSL. I love that term, so I'm gonna start using it
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
So you learned KSL to for the boys,
Mhm.
and I mean I don't know how the scripts were like, but is there like a favorite phrase or line or like a sign that you specifically remember really enjoying filming when you filmed the boys?
Yeah, I can't do it right now. I don't remember it, but I love the Stormfront confrontation where I say, I'm gonna put a boot up your Nazi kitty.
And what are you laughing at?
She says the truth is, she's gonna stick her boot up your Nazi kitty.
Yeah, no,
Classic. So
I
good.
remember that too. Yeah,
Yeah, that's a
that is
good
a great
one.
one.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, that's a good one. And then
Yeah.
I love the I love you one, which is
Mhm.
I love you. Yeah, simple.
Yeah, very simple actually. So with your experience with language itself
Mhm.
extending beyond just spoken language now,
Yeah.
having does have verbal and non-verbal languages complemented each other in any way in your own personal life now? If any, like what relationship do you think exists between verbal and non-verbal languages?
Wow, what a deep question. I think that communication can be done non-verbally. I think that signing is just as powerful as audible languages. And I've just learned that sometimes listening is the biggest part of a conversation, especially playing this character because it's active listening and it's quite hard to do if you're not used to doing it. Um, yeah, I feel like the phrase words have no meaning is rings true because unless you put the meaning behind that word, it doesn't really have meaning. Let's say the word fuck. Like you could say like, oh, fuck, like really frustrated, or you could, you know, be joyous about it, like, yeah, fuck yeah. Like words have no meaning. The word itself doesn't have meaning unless you put the meaning behind it. It's about who's saying it and what they're trying to say. And so yeah, that's my like little 2 cents. I don't know if that connects back to your question, but
Oh no, it absolutely does. Yeah.
yeah.
No, I love the words have no meaning that you brought up. That's now that I think about it, it's very true, especially in just not even just expressions, but in sentences and all of that. Yeah. That's very insightful. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks.
And also in your role in as Kimiko and the boys, you perform not only using sign language, but you also need to perform using facial expressions, body language, and other modes of communication other than speaking. How different was it to have to focus on those nuances more than the familiar lines you may have been given in previous roles?
Yeah, I think this also goes back to active listening, and it is all about um, what's said in between the lines, right? It's all of the feels and all of the built up tension and the juicy parts, I think, are felt in the silences. It's about what's not being said by a character. And so that's been a really fun thing to explore. I don't think I necessarily like think about, oh, what facial expression should I be having right now? Or I don't push anything at all. I don't think like, oh, I need to have the audience know that I'm feeling this way. So I should look, I should do this facial expression. I don't really do that. It's just, again, about active listening and really trying to hear what the other character is saying to you, whether you agree with it or not. And yeah, I think really truly believing in, I guess, what your character stands for in that exact scene.
That's a wonderful answer. Thank you so much. I also wanted to know, like, so beyond the boys, I want to go into your passion in acting a little bit too.
Okay.
Between working as a translator and then your film debut in the Suicide Squad, I wanted to see if you could tell me a little about your experience when it came to getting into acting. What introduced you to it in the first place, and was there like a struggle before the success?
I honestly, I think I was one of those kids that loved watching TV and movies, and but I never had anyone in my life personally that was in the industry, so I had no idea uh how to break in, or what steps, who are agents, what are they, what do they do, I need a manager, do I need a headshot, what is a headshot? I was so clueless as to what steps I needed to take in order to get to having acting as my full-time job. Um, and I think my first audition was through my Japanese school, and it was for a show called Disney's Movie Surfers as the host. Yeah, and I was the Japanese representative. They had one for every country: Spain, Italy, you name it, Mexico. And they would line us up and we would do the same intros in our languages, and then we would do the same interviews like in our languages, and we would do all the red carpet stuff and junket interviews. I was in your shoes. And I got that through an audition that happened at my Japanese school. One of the casting directors came by and they said, anyone can audition. It's an open call. And I don't think I thought much of it. I just thought, okay, yeah, I don't even know what an audition is, but I guess I like read these lines, um, and I got really, really lucky and I booked that. And then through that, I got, I believe, a manager and agent, and then started working from there. But really, I think at that time, I was in middle school. I don't think I booked anything else. I think that was it. And then maybe a few commercials here and there. I'm like, yeah, I think that was it. So I wouldn't say that I had an acting gig for a long time. I think it was hosting, and then I moved on to reporting after that for NHK. So it was a lot of like, hey guys, I'm here at blah, speaking to, you know. Um, and then after graduating college, I truly, truly wanted to pursue my dreams, and yeah, I took the bullet, hit the bullet. What's the phrase? I went for it. I went for it. And luckily it's worked out. So my
It
parents
turned
are,
out great for you. Congratulations. You should be
yeah,
so proud.
yeah, I got really, really lucky though. Yeah, thank you.
Mm. So to wrap up now, I wanted to ask what's next for you? We know that The Boys is moving forward with its fifth and final season.
I know.
Are there any other projects that you're working on right now? Any projects you would like your audience to look out for?
Yeah, I just wrapped an indie film with Kiernan Shipka, Kristen Ritter, Kiefer Sutherland, and it's about a lesbian cult, and it's a very fun, cheeky little action film. So I'm very excited for that. And then we're gonna go film season 5 for The Boys, and it is really, really bittersweet. I think it all of us love the show. All of us love being on it, but I gotta say, I feel like I'm the number one fan here. I could fight them on it. And it's really sad that, it's coming to an end, and it's bittersweet. I will miss everyone. I can't even think about day one on set, because that's just the beginning of the end. And it's crazy. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I would feel, but I'm really happy that people are watching season 4, and people are excited about it. I love the weekly releases and getting to chat with my friends about it. And yeah, we just went through a really big reveal in the last episode, and I couldn't wait to talk about it, because I know, I know. I won't say it here, but you know what I'm talking
Oh yeah,
about.
I do.
Yeah.
It's great that The Boys is coming to its natural end though, and not just being canceled midway when they have an entire
Oh my
story
gosh.
planned. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I could. I would be devastated if that happens, or happen. Knock on wood. Knock on wood. Um, yeah, I think Kripke
Mhm.
has it, planned out. Um, I think he's always said, we think it's gonna be fine. not always, but I've heard him say that before. So I think he has a plan, and he's smarter than me. So
Well, I'm looking so forward to it, and I know a lot of people that I know are looking forward to it too. So, I just wanted to say, great job on this season. I think not to be biased, but you're a little bit of the favorite character for a lot of people.
thank you.
Yeah,
Wow,
but it was
that's very
wonderful
sweet.
talking
Thank
to
you.
you.
Yay. Thank you so
Thank you
much for
so
your
much.
time.
You too, you too. Have a wonderful day.